Hi, I'm Dan Murphy, and I'm here with Ford Spalding to discuss the current situation with Minuteman Vocational School. So why don't we first start with what is your relationship with the school?
Dan, it's good to be back here again. I was hoping this wouldn't have to take place, but it is. I am the current Dover representative to the Minuteman School Committee, chair of the building committee, and been involved with Minuteman now for 8 years working on this building project. And what I like to tell people, and we can explain why in a minute, we are over 9 innings of baseball. We're in the 10th inning. That's where we are. It's going to be whether win or lose. We're going to the final step in accordance with Mass General laws.
Okay, so right now I think Dover's voted twice on this building project, both in favor. So what is this third vote?
Yeah, you're right. Dover voted one to remain in the district and support Minuteman through agreeing to their new regional agreement. Last May 2nd, Dover voted, I say it's about 900 to 20. There were a lot of people at town meeting, mainly because of the rail trail, but they voted almost unanimously to support the building project as presented. What we needed at that time was, we have 16 towns in the Minuteman District, of which Dover is one of them. The Minuteman District was founded in the 1970s. The building was built in the 1970s. Because of our agreement, Dan, we needed 16 towns to say yes through the town meeting process. 15 towns did not say no. And of those that voted, it was almost near unanimous in all the towns. Huge majorities in Arlington, in a Lexington, in a Needham, a Concord, Lancaster. One town said no, and that was the town of Belmont.
Okay, so now that one town said no, so what's different about this vote?
Well, I think it's important to know, why did Belmont say no? They said no for several reasons. One, Belmont is a very tightly controlled town by their Selectmen and Finance Committee. They have, well, I can tell you there were 141 votes at their town meeting against Minuteman, 81 for Minuteman. That's out of a town of 17,300 residents, because they have an elected town meeting system. So it's not a large amount of people made that decision. They made the decision for several reasons. They have many building projects on their plate that are all coming due at the same time. They have a new high school. They're in the MSBA queue. They have a police station. They have a DPW. They have a library. And they funded at their last town meeting $1.7 million for trailers for their middle school. And they said they're going to need more than that. So all these things are coming together at the same time. Minuteman is a low priority to them, even though they send 26 students there. So that's why the no vote. Be that a no vote, we now have to go to our next step, which is a district-wide general election.
Okay, so what happens, so is this a majority vote?
Strictly a majority vote. We need 51% of the total vote in all of our 16 communities. Even those towns that you may recall, some are leaving, because they're still in the district, they have the right to vote. So out of the 16 communities, the total vote will determine whether the new building is built or not.
And so this vote doesn't fall under some of the new changes to the voting system that was negotiated with the new agreement?
No, the regional agreement, it really says for a capital project, you need 16 yeses out of your towns. That's under Mass General law that says, that governs town meetings. If town meeting failed, the school committee said, we'll go to the next step, which is the general election. The general election under the state statute is purely a majority of those voters. And if a majority of those voters do it, even if a town votes no, they're still going to be obligated to pay if they remain in the district.
All right. So, and Belmont is a town that agreed to stay in the district?
Belmont did not take that vote, so they're basically saying they're in the district. They supported it. there's been a change in Belmont, and we don't really know why, other than the fact that I previously alluded to. They have other projects, and maybe it's a tax base that says we can't afford to do all these projects. They basically have said, we want to move on. We may even want to leave the district. In order for them to leave the district, a large majority of the town would have to vote no at this election. They then would need a 2/3 vote from the town meeting to get out, and then they have to go to all the towns to get approval to get out.
Okay. Well,
which is a long process.
yes, but it's not a process that, while it has a impact on Dover, it's not one that Dover residents participate in necessarily.
That's
so
right.
let's get back to Dover's role and talk about when this vote's going to take place and how people can get involved.
The vote's going to take place this September 20th, just a few days away, depending on when you watch the show, September 20th, at the town hall between 12 noon and 8 p.m. It's going to be during that day and those time periods in all 16 towns. And that's all, again, governed by Mass General Law. So everything's done at the same time. Minuteman pays for the entire cost of the election in all the towns. And they've been working with the 16 town clerks very effectively to be able to do that. So they're going to be, just the way you can do in a regular election, you'll be able to vote at the polls. You can also vote by absentee ballot by contacting our town clerk. So it's really as simple as that. I think it's important also to mention that the information that we gave at the May 2nd town meeting, Dan, financial information, et cetera, basically is the change. Assuming all the towns remain in that are going to be in, and those towns that are going to get out, it's still going to remain the change, and the estimated capital debt assessment on the medium home in Dover was $30.48. And Dover overwhelmingly supported the cost of the building because they believe strongly that they want to have, for Dover students who want to go to a Minuteman, that opportunity as an in-district student.
Right, and I mean, I guess we should discuss briefly the differences between being an in-district student and an out-of-district student, and
the costs for an in-district student are governed by, you're going to be paying for the general tuition, you'll pay for special education if that's a cost, and you pay for transportation. If you're an out-of-district student, you basically do the same thing with one exception. The Department of Education has passed a regulation that we can now charge out-of-district students, if there is room in the school for those students, for a capital charge if the building is in an MSBA, Mass School Building Authority project, which this will be. So we're going to be able to charge a capital fee. That capital fee is roughly going to be about $8,000 per student. So it's tuition plus the capital fee plus the transportation plus special education if that child requires it.
Right, and then as an in-district student, I believe, would also get first choice at what program they would want to do.
They get first choice for admissions. They get first choice to go into the career module that they want to go into. So if they want to go into biotechnology or they want to go into culinary arts, they are going to get that choice before the out-of-district student. We also feel that when the new building is built and everything settles down, we're going to be full. And we're going to be full with in-district kids from not only existing towns, but we feel that we're going to be able to attract a couple of other larger communities to come into the district because it's going to be appealing to them to do so. So for out-of-district kids, those kids that our towns elected to leave, it's going to be much harder to get into Minuteman.
Okay, and then let's talk about update to what the building project. Have there been any changes to it?
There have been no, we haven't engaged our professionals anymore because we don't want to spend the money until we know we have it. So it's really all contingent upon getting the vote. So the reasons to vote for it are really the same that we did before. I want to just run down a list if I can.
Go ahead.
Allows construction for a safe, modern facility that's going to meet their 21st century educational goals for our kids. It's all, as Governor Baker says, it's for workforce development. Governor Baker is very much supportive of career and technical education. We need to have a building that's going to train our kids so they're ready to go either into the workforce or onto higher education. It allows us to address, in a building that was built in 1972, long-standing structural issues in the building to make it safe, bring it to ADA compliance. That's important, as well as other code requirements. You know, if we don't have the project and we have to do a renovation project, we're going to have to meet code. And when we do that, the bills to our communities, we feel, are going to exceed the cost of a new building. It's going to safeguard our $44 million grant from the MSBA. If we have this project, if we do a renovation project, they're not going to support it. They've said that. It allows us, as I said, to charge out-of-district students up to around $8,000 for a capital plan. Those are a lot of the reasons, you know, why we should. Oh, the other one is we have been warned, just as Dover-Sherburne was warned maybe 20 years ago. If we don't do this, we could lose accreditation from the New England Association of Schools and Colleges. That's a big factor. So, for those and many other reasons, I really encourage Dover citizens to vote yes.
Right. And they can just come down to the polls on
So, you know,
September
please
25th.
come down to the polls on Tuesday, September 20th, between noon and 8. And I think it'd be a really great idea if we could show a couple of films on the benefit of a Minuteman education. One is going to show what alumni and how they think about Minuteman, and then another is going to show what the kids really get out of Minuteman. So I think that would be a very valuable thing for people to watch.
Okay, so let's take a look at those films.
Great, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I ended up coming to Minuteman because I knew I wanted to work with my hands, and I knew I wanted to do carpentry.
Coming to Minuteman made sense for me because it gave me the opportunity to learn more about marine biology and environmental science.
I chose to come to Minuteman because of the shops.
I knew I liked biotech and engineering, I just wasn't sure which one, and I was able to choose, and I've loved my choice ever since.
I chose Minuteman because I wanted to do cosmetology.
I chose to come to Minuteman because I am a hands-on learner.
I chose Minuteman because I saw that Minuteman helped you prepare for the future.
It's like every other school, except we have one different class. Instead of a study, we have a trade for the whole day for 1 week, every 2 weeks, that we get to learn and use later in life.
It really feels like you're stepping into the real world. It feels like after you spend your week in academics, you step into a working world. You get to choose the field you want to go into. So it's interesting, and every day is interesting, and every hour of every day in Shop Week is interesting. We recently worked with an organism called E. coli, which everybody has in their gut, and we treated it with a very specific enzyme called the P-Glow enzyme, which basically is a system of genetic modification where we cause these single-celled organisms that we grow in our lab every week to become luminescent. It was really cool.
We'll go to different streams and test the quality of the water, and being able to learn stuff outside and doing it actually in the field as opposed to just hearing about it in the classroom.
I'm designing a maple baseball bat that doesn't splinter when the ball hits the weak spot. That's really cool because, I mean, it's something that could actually be put into effect today.
I love cars. There's something about tightening a bolt that really motivates me to get the job done.
Things that people can look at and use for a purpose. Art. I create art.
The one thing that I enjoy the most is when I'm all done and the client gets out of my chair and they have the biggest smile on their face. That puts a smile on my face as they walk out the door, knowing that I accomplished what I was supposed to do and they enjoyed what I'd done, and they'll come back. Minuteman teachers are extraordinary.
They are always there to help. They will go out of their way.
The teachers and the students have a real bond, a real true friendship that you can't usually find anywhere. What you want to see yourself do, they will help you get to that goal.
The kids in my shop are like my family. When you spend 4 years with people, you kind of get really close. I know like if I ever need anything, they'll always be there for me, and I'm always there for them.
The shop's become a family, and you really come to depend and appreciate on every single person in your shop.
They put others in front of themselves. Kindness is amazing. These kids are loyal to you, and they will help you with whatever you need.
Next year, I plan to go to the University of New England and double major in environmental science and marine science.
I plan to apply to several colleges, including UMass Amherst, Boston College, Holy Cross.
I'm gonna go to Hope College, and I'll be majoring in engineering.
What my friends back home don't understand about Minuteman is that kids go to college. You can really become anyone you want.
Just because it's a vocational school doesn't mean that we don't get the same education as other people. We get just as much and more. We get all of the academics that you would learn at a regular high school and the addition of the career major that you choose.
Every day is something different.
Everyone here wants to be here.
Minuteman is the high school of the future.
My name is Ed Cotton, and I'm the executive chef here at Soto 13 in New York City.
My name is Kathy Montreville, and I am the head stylist at Salon Harrowby.
My name is Jason Crowdle. I own and operate J.A. Crowdle Corporation as a landscape construction business in Needham, Massachusetts.
My name is Erin Meister, and I work for the Cellular Therapeutics and Transplantation Laboratory at Mass General Hospital. We give people a second chance at life. We work with the doctors and the nurse practitioners in assisting stem cell transplants. So when patients come in with certain disease states that require transplant, we'll get the cell source and dose it in a way that fits the prescription of the doctor. It is life-changing what we do here, and I just feel so grateful to be a part of that.
I never stop thinking about food. I'm always constantly buying books, reading books, going out for dinner. You're putting out the food as fast as you can, and you look out into the dining room and you see a bunch of people enjoying themselves, smiles on their face. That's what really gets me going each day.
I basically do hair, makeup, and wardrobe, and I can also do facials, basic manicures, pedicures, and waxing. I love making people look and feel at their best. Usually when people come into the salon, they don't really feel at their best until they feel like they look their part. I love making a difference in their personal self-esteem.
The best part of my job is seeing the finished product. When you actually build something and construct something with your hands and you can see the before and the after, there's a great deal of satisfaction.
Minuteman prepared me in starting my own business with every aspect, down to customer service, people skills, financing, thinking of names and demographic. They gave us the confidence that we needed to be able to step into any job and to believe in ourselves enough to be able to know that we could handle it.
Minuteman helped me prepare to start my own business by exposing me to what horticulture and landscape is, whether it be turf management, landscape construction, greenhouse management, or even arboriculture, where it's taking down and caring for trees. Minuteman enabled me to see all of those different areas and choose what I wanted to do when I graduated. In most high school settings, we'd never see that.
They have a bakery open to the public, a restaurant open to the public. You're in the back of the house, you're in the front of the house. It gave us a taste of what it was going to be like after we entered the real world.
All of the equipment they have, they really do have what mimics what you'd find in industry. Like I found even my freshman year of college, I was doing things that I had been exposed to in high school. I didn't realize at the time how unique that was as a high school program.
At 14 years old, I had a big portfolio book, and I was able to get any job right off the bat because, first of all, this kid has a whole book of her work, and second of all, she's not scared. Why? Because we had those mock trainings in our classroom, And we had our teacher always prepping us and letting us know, you know, what will get you the job, what will make you stand apart. You have to be able to be a distinguished individual in this industry. There are many stylists born and many barbers born, but what makes you different? Our teachers made sure that we knew what that was and made sure that we capitalized on every chance to show the world what we could do.
I don't know if there's any other 15 or 16-year-old would walk up to an instructor and say, hey, I want to make consomme. How do you make consomme? Well, we set up a time this week and stay after, and we'll make consomme. They cared. You know, they could see the fire in my eye, and they knew that I wanted to learn more.
Going to Minuteman kind of encouraged me to be a little bit more proactive about what I want to do in my future. It kind of gave me a safety net in deciding what I wanted to do, because I didn't know if I wanted to do biotech or environmental. So having that 4 years, I was able to kind of do both without spending $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, you know, declaring a major in college and then finding out 1 to 2 years into it that it wasn't for me.
I would say to somebody entering the program, don't limit yourself just to the vocation that you pick.
Give everything a chance.
You can never have too many mentors. You know, ask questions, ask what they like, ask what they don't like. Finding something you don't like is equally as important as finding your passion.
Experience all the different shops and opportunities at Minuteman, because later on in life, you're going to be glad you did.